Padres go up 2-1, but lose in spectacular fashion to tied up 2-2. It is now time for a decisive Game 5 in Los Angeles. Do or die. Will the Padres come out victorious? We'll talk about all of that and more tonight on Padres Talking Padres. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Padres Talking Padres, your favorite Padres podcast, hosted exclusively by real fathers. My name is Jay, and with me, as always, is Jerry and Jack. Gentlemen, how are we doing? How are we doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. Wonderful.
I actually am doing pretty good because I went to sleep in the 7th inning. I said, they're just, because I was so tired. I mean, it was just dragging. And I said, they're going to have to win with, I think it was 5-0 when I went to sleep. And so then I woke up today and about 3 o'clock, I go to my computer and I go, all right, it's happened before, where I go to bed and I go, 8-0. I go, didn't happen.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was, I was also just really exhausted, like just kind of emotionally exhausted. And I was also kind of like, I'm so tired watching this game. Even like in the first inning, I was exhausted. And they didn't really do much to get me awake or anything for the most.
Well, apparently they were a little bit of sleep too. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. They had hits. They had hits.
Yes,
7
they just
hits.
couldn't break through. Yeah.
Too many times starting with 2 outs. Which that kind of always props up the stat column. But and the reality is I never felt like we were really threatening. We just never really had anything going.
We had that one inning we had first and
when
second.
Machado hit the one to the wall, I think, but by then it was already, I think, 5 or 6-0. So it was kind of like, oh, that might get us a couple of runs. But yeah, first time shutout since July 19th, guys.
Really?
Yep. First time since July 19th.
Dang.
I'm going by the paper. That's what the paper put out. So yeah.
That's why I didn't think it was. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long time. It really
newspaper?
is. I mean, you think of all the ups and downs of a season. That's that's quite an accomplishment.
Well, they have a good offense. They just need to change the lineup.
Yeah.
We got a lot to dig into. We have 5 people viewing right now. If you all could hit the like button, that would be fantastic. If you want to join us in the chat live, we'll plus in any questions or comments you may have. So we did this show last Thursday, so it was basically right before or a day before this NLDS series was supposed to start. Game 1, the Dodgers won, came from behind. Big Ohtani home run. It was great. We knew how many batters away we were from.
Did Ohtani hit a home run?
I think so.
I never saw it. Yeah. Did they show the replay?
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, Ohtani is up first for the Dodgers on Friday night. Yeah. Okay.
So we're how many hours away?
Yeah. How many hours away? Yeah.
Side Yard Cat is a Dodger fan?
I'm guessing so.
I thought we blocked Dodger fans.
I mean, Dodger fans, welcome. You can share your thoughts if you want to.
Sure.
But we're not going to listen to them.
But there was, when Manny hit that home run, I was like, oh, this is great. But unfortunately, Cease just didn't have his command, and the Dodgers hit him well. Kayla Silva is here. Just came to say, duck the Fodgers. This is the only time I work for the Padres. She is a diehard Giants fan, so I know all the Giants.
We don't need Ohtani.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought. But
send him down south.
So that was game 1. We lost it 5-7. Had a couple errors. Costly.
Defensively, we didn't play very well.
No.
Cease, his location was just way off. Ohtani had was that the one he had a broken bat single off?
Morahone. Yeah.
Give the guy. He's had 2 bats. 2 hits where the bats were shattered. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He still got base. That's how strong the guy is.
Yeah.
So people were playing Morahone. I go, he literally shattered his bat. What else could he do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in that game we lost. Game 2 was insane, where it was a pretty tight game, well played game. Then it kind of went off the rails in the middle between Jack Flaherty and Manny Machado, and then there's the throw of the ball
my
or whatever
God.
that is. That was really annoying. And
I don't
then
want,
you had,
and personally, I don't even want to waste time with that.
neither do
whole
I.
predicament.
If anything, I think Eric Hosmer said it well. It's just like the vilification of Manny Machado when and just the willingness of the media to just basically support this Dodger narrative to basically take the cover off of the Dodgers actually looking like jerks and their fans looking like jerks was frustrating.
Well, what killed me is, okay, once there was video evidence out there, I went, all right, this will be gone.
Yeah.
I go, how did it get worse?
Yeah.
And they literally turned that evidence over to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
I go, come on.
So that was annoying.
I think the expansion, I guess my only comment, because it's not about what the Dodgers did, although there was something there. But what I didn't like was Ken Rosenthal's hit piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
That not only went after Machado, but went after Tatis and Profar. That was unprofessional. I don't care. I don't care which way he wants to swing, as far as, who he's rooting for, what, but that was uncalled for. It's just unprofessional. So,
but that's how he's
it
been.
sounds like
That's
this. I
how
always
he
remember
is,
my dad just consider the source. And so
Yeah.
what we have found through the first 4 games,
the
gentlemen,
sinister
is
sling
that there is a
thing,
very
that was annoying.
biased look at this from the Fox Sports Network.
Yeah.
Very biased.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point you go, well, if you're not going to be subjective, well, then I'm not listening to you, And I've noticed a little bit of correction the last game or two, but it's too little too late for me, because the first 2 games were nonsensical, and I muted. I had no problem muting. So
but I think the thing that ticks me off, and I think you're right, Tamara, is that Manny has matured a lot, and it just becomes like an easy target, and
fallback.
And it ticks me off, because it's just like he doesn't deserve that. And then there's other players that do like Jesse Winkler, like slamming his helmet into the thing. But where's the hit piece on that?
Whoa, that's showing emotion.
I know.
What about Ohtani last night? Have you seen the video of him screaming at the umpire after he got thrown out? Why don't you scream at yourself? Because literally your third base coach almost tackled you, and you still ran through the stop sign. He's like 2 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
I mean, the great Ohtani, who flung his bat. So he flung his bat, and it went towards the Padre dugout. That thing was going 100 miles an hour. Yeah. He didn't know where that was going.
And again, so it's just the okay for me, but not for the thing that's really frustrating in that scenario. But again, I'm not gonna. Again, we shouldn't waste too much time, because I think it just gives more air to that bull crap.
You're right.
But still, there's that. But then we won the first game at Petco. That 6-run inning was phenomenal. And then capped off with the Tatis home run, the brilliant base running by Manny Machado, and unfortunately that grand slam made it really stressful. But our A players in the bullpen completely shut it down, and
one hit.
So then
I think they had one hit after that grand slam.
They did. It was
because King rebounded.
He got 2 innings, and then
do we think he's tipping? I mentioned in the chat. Is he tip? Because they weren't budging on the slider. They weren't even offering. He has. I mean, it wasn't as good as it normally is, but it's like they knew it was coming. I go, how can I go? They're not
probably recognizing the spin or something.
No, I think it was more than that, guys. I think it was just the location wasn't the first game. He was starting the slider on the inside to the middle of the plate, and it was going out of their reach. The other night, it was starting in the middle, and by the time the batter's ready to see it, it was already outside the zone. Him and Cease both live with it's got and John Smoltz, for all of his other things that I don't like about what he says, because anyway. He obviously a Hall of Fame pitcher, and he knows his stuff. And his biggest thing was the ideal of a great pitching performance is to make strikes look like balls and balls look like strikes. Yeah. And when you look back at what King did in that first game, that's exactly what it was. They couldn't stay off of it because his fastball was perfect, and his breaking ball was starting as a strike and then becoming a ball. Cease has had a problem because everything looks like a ball, and it is a ball, and looks like a strike and is a strike, and look, I listened to the guys on the radio this morning. I'm going to say the same thing. This is still my team. Whatever happens, these 5 games, this has still been a great season, and that's not a concession speech. I think they're going to win, but you can't be perfect every game. And we rode Cease's coattails for about 2 months there. So you're not without Dylan Cease.
That's what I said on Twitter, because people are saying we need to cut him, we need to drop him. I said, okay, if you win this series, you're going to need Cease.
Yeah.
You don't
but here's the thing, like,
he's game 3. He's game 3.
he's coming up on his last year of arbitration. And I think it was a good article. It was Tom Kasovic or from the Union Tribune. And he said he could have put inning restrictions on him, or prevented himself from maybe being in positions where he could get injured or something. And he said, "No, I'm in short rest. I'm in." And I respect Cease a ton. And when he's been on, he's been incredible. And the past 2 starts, with a lot of rest and not a lot of rest, weren't great. And it is what it is.
Against location. I mean,
So yesterday the Dodgers said they're going to the bullpen game, which did worry me because Padres during the postseason, at least, have not done well against bullpens. So whatever game planning they're doing, it's just not working for them. And Cease wasn't sharp, got pulled early, and we basically put out our B players from a bullpen standpoint, except from Estrada. And B players are going to be hit well by good teams, and that's what happened. So the odds were stacked against us. Our B players would have had to play like A players, and the Dodgers would have had to play less than the great players that they are, and it just didn't work out that way.
But once they got that 5-0 lead, it was like,
but guys, look, I don't want to come across too harsh here, but the Dodgers had the same issue. They faced our bullpen, and you can call it whatever you want. They made the adjustments. So, give them credit. Look, we've had 2 blowouts, so to speak, and we've had 2 close games. I mean, each side has had a blowout, and each side has had a close game.
Yeah.
I still look back, man, when we started this back at the beginning of the season, if you'd have told me, hey, you're going to play 1 game to go to the NLCS, okay, sign me up. This is what we're here for, right?
Absolutely.
So you can't just take the results of even these 4 games. Somebody brought up the best point. The Padres have beaten the Dodgers more than any other team in the league this year. So 1 more.
Well,
we're a better road team than we are a home team. So
we are a better road team.
The Padres are no longer afraid of the Dodgers.
No,
absolutely.
And I think someone asked me, I think it was maybe my wife. She goes, I go, I'll be disappointed if they don't win. Who wouldn't be as a Padre fan? I'll be more disappointed if they show up like they did.
Yeah, if it's a close game,
if they're playing the ball that they're capable of playing, where they're putting the ball. I mean, Manny is trying to crush the ball. I mean, he just be patient, just be Manny, just hit the ball. There's too many. I don't know what Verizon is doing. Not Verizon. Arise is doing. He's every ball he's hitting is in the air.
Yeah.
That's not him. That's not his style. Profar, I think you said about a month ago, he's been dead pool for a while. They just need to stop, regroup, and if they can play like they're capable of playing, and Darvish pitches like he is, I think we win.
Yeah,
but it's up to them.
The key is Darvish hopefully is locked in, and then we got our best bullpen pieces. So pitching wise, I feel good. Other than just being a little worried about Darvish. It's the second time they're seeing him, but we're going to be seeing if they go a bullpen game again. The second time we're seeing all of them.
Well, aren't they starting Yamamoto?
Have they confirmed starting out? If I was Dave Roberts, I'd run out the bullpen. Go ahead.
Well, that was where I say, as far as I know, they have not confirmed any starter yet.
No, they haven't. No.
Everybody was theorizing that would be Yamamoto, but we've hurt Yamamoto a couple of times, real bad. Now he's pitched a couple of decent ones against us, but we hurt him pretty bad a couple of times.
We've beat him up.
And look, if you're Dave Roberts, and again, I don't think he's a very good manager. That's just my personal opinion. But you would have to think, wow, that worked once. Why not again? Everybody got another day rest. Just march them out there in the same order. And I think this is time for if Schilt hears that. I know we're going to talk about this, but why not now? Maybe Schilt needs to make an adjustment in the lineup. And I'm not talking drastic. I know, like, Jack's got some pretty drastic changes there. But I'm just talking about, the conversation that was out there about moving Tatis up to the first spot, number one, just to give him ultimately the most at-bats you could possibly get.
Yeah.
But second of all, I think there was a call that was made for Solano to start, and it's not that Peralta's bad, but we have when you get to Merrill in today's, in yesterday's lineup, it's Merrill, Bogarts, Peralta, Cronenworth. That's just too many lefties in a row.
Yep.
And they've got two good lefties. Well, you're kind of making it easy, at least for the first couple of times, on when to use them. So I think you do have to break up our lefties a little bit, and by putting Solano in there, number one, you can put him, in defensively and let it rise, DH. But the fact of the matter is that you can also bring in Peralta and when you need him.
Or I say, because that's what I noticed in the bullpen game. Yes, thank you, side yard cat. What I said in the game is, like, I don't think you need, if you move Merrill into Profar's spot and Profar into, I feel like you have him there. I just think if you do left, right, wouldn't that negate the lefty hole that he could keep putting the lefty out there?
But Peralta hit the left-handers yesterday.
He did. But Cronenworth and Merrill didn't.
Well, the other solution I've heard is just to flip Cronenworth and Higgy.
Sure.
Yeah. Because then again, now of course you got if you flip Tatis up there, well, now you start going lefty, righty, lefty, righty. Look, there's no way. There's 9 guys. It's uneven. You're always going to have a couple of righties or a couple of lefties next to each other. But let's not make it easier than it needs to be.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, I know, sorry, Kyle Cat's a Dodger fan, but he's right. It's like, in some ways, it's like, but why messing everything up just because we got shut out one game? Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what we've done. I don't see anybody just so struggling that that I'm going, oh crap, here's an outcome. And
no, you're right.
Yeah, Profar swing a little bit hard, Machado swing a little hard, but the fact of the matter is, I got the feeling they're going to come in Friday and they're going to do what they've done all year, which is the old eraser board, and we're moving forward.
Yeah.
But what I like about the lineup is Dave Roberts is your classic overthinker. And I think if you change the lineup, because now it's.
But maybe you do it in action. Maybe you go one way through, and then if he brings out a lefty, then you put Solano in there. That's where he gets flustered. Like if you disrupt his game plan middle of the game, that's when he gets. Remember, even in this season, we outplayed him in those. And I
think obviously Merrill having Manny behind him, he'd get better pitches. He's not getting the pitches with.
Bogarts behind him. Yeah.
Bogarts are hitting behind him.
But is Manny getting better pitches because Merrill's behind him? It's a tough thing to.
True. I mean, it is. Yeah. I mean, but see if you get these three, I think what we need to do is because if you look at the Dodgers lineup, their top 4 guys, when Freeman's in there, it's a gauntlet. Those guys, you have to. I mean, obviously start with Ohtani, and you got to pay it. There's a lot of pressure for our starting pitchers to get through those first 4 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're suffering with the bottom part of the lineup, because you're putting all your energy in getting these first 4 guys. Why don't we just do the same thing?
Because that's a repeat of 2022.
I don't think. I don't think. We're not having a problem with the bottom of our lineup, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
No, I'm not saying we are. I'm saying though, if you start out with these 4 guys, the bottom lineup will do even better because the pitchers are it's stressful.
I disagree. I just like the bottom of the line is not the problem. It's actually the middle, has been, a little bit less productive. And again, short time averages. Geez, I read an article where they were talking about Ohtani's only hitting 250, and I'm like, wow, that's just disgusting.
It's
know,
4
come on.
games. Like,
Yeah, it's 4
Well, to
games.
be
You get
fair,
like
I took
16
away
at
my-
bats, and oh wow, he's only got 4
I took
hits.
away my
But
MVP
he's
vote
driven
for
in
him.
3 or 4 runs. He's got
Yeah.
a home run. Yeah, that's just terrible.
No, I agree. I will say it's kind of a moot point. Schultz said he's sticking with what got it.
No, he's not going to
Yeah.
change it. I'm just doing this for argument's sake.
I will say that's not how you spell Peralta though. So
oh, I forgot. I missed
David, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Sorry, David. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
sorry.
No, I think they bring the energy,
Peralta.
and quite honestly, it's funny because there's a lot of discussion in baseball about the whole divisions, winners or not winning, and getting kicked out early, and there's a whole lot of debate on rest versus play and things like that. But I say the same thing about home, and so with a 5-game series, it's kind of weird to me because I sit there and I go, okay, look, I'm trying to think of this logically, right? These are 2 really good teams, right? So here we've got 2 games at Dodger Stadium, and you're thinking 1-1. Well, now we have the advantage.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, is that really fair by baseball to do that? I'm glad for our sake that we had the advantage. Now, of course, the advantage goes back to them. But you sit there and you think, is that really that much of an advantage? Just because
not really.
If you don't sweep that team the first 2 games, you're going in at a disadvantage. And that has happened in almost every series.
Yeah.
This year it happened in every series. But even in the past, I mean, it's ridiculous now how many division winners cannot get to the World Series.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, that's why I don't like the 7-game series the way they do it now, because it's 2, 3, and 2. So again, if you split the first 2 games at home,
but you get 3 at home then. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not having home field advantages. 2 away and then 3 straight. So if you split the first 2, you could. This is what the Phillies did to us. They went to their home base and swept us. We never even got to bring it back to San Diego.
But therein lies the crux, though, Jay. Because if you go 1 and 2, you get to bring it home. That to me, that's the big difference. The 7-game series versus the 5-game series.
Sure.
I have no argument with the way the 7-game series is because I want the home field advantage. I want 4 home games, and you know what? If I split, all I got to do is win. And I know me and Jack were on a boat somewhere, when the Padres did that. But I kept thinking, just win 1, just get it back to
we just had to win 1,
and they did,
but we couldn't.
And so they're in.
Thanks, Mania.
But it's a fairer and a more equitable because number 1, it's 7 games, and and again, John Smoltz said, I hate the 5-game series. I hate the 3-game series. I hate the 5-game series.
Would you do a 7-game series?
I wish we would go back to the 7-game series and get rid of the other 2 wild cards. I honestly do.
No. I like all the wild cards. Give
me all because that's because you're new generation, new school.
I like it's all like even with it is now all the teams that get in. It's still harder to get into. There's still less teams in baseball playoffs than there are in.
Unless you had a salary cap where everybody was on a level playing field, it just won't work.
Because the only way that I agree with that, Jay, is if they make the first series 3, that's fine, and then it goes to 7 right away.
Or
then I would agree with the extra teams.
This is what I would do.
I just don't like the whole 3 and then followed by 5 and then you finally get to 7.
I will say this. I like if we add 2 more playoff teams.
Oh, geez, Jay.
Come on.
Are you in a jail now?
Hear me out.
It's the NBA.
You get rid of the bye. Everybody plays the wild card round. The 1 seed gets to play the lowly 8 seed.
There has to be something for having that. You have to make the regular season worse.
Well, they get to play, but I'm saying they get to play this lowly 8 team, keep warm or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
like that one.
I don't want any more teams.
Okay, remember how much fun it was because it was the COVID season. They did that. There was that many teams in the playoffs. That wild card round was so much fun because there were many games.
But they only played 60 games. You got to remember too. You go from 3 games to 7 games for the. round we're in now. 7 games from next round. Oh, and the World Series is 7 games.
Then you got to reduce the regular season.
Pitchers are already, they're not going to do that. Pitchers are already dropping like fly because they're not going to take that income away. Are the players?
If more people have a chance to be in the playoffs, which makes you more money anyway.
All right, so you go up. We're going to do 154 games.
Yes.
So the players, okay, we're getting 8 less games revenue from TV and all. You have to take a pay cut. Is Major League Baseball, so Player Association, going to do that?
2 more teams get to go to the playoffs, and then you get to have a 7-game series.
They're not going to take away the guaranteed money.
I just think, gentlemen, I think the thing is you just got to be careful how much you dilute the product. And if I think the NBA, I used to like to watch the NBA, but then they've gone ridiculous now. I'm sorry. You got 7 teams that make it, and then there's like 5 teams that trade for the 8th seed, and it's just ridiculous.
And you have teams under 500.
And you've got teams under 500. Football's the same way. You got teams that have made it under 500. I just don't like you're just diluting the regular season. And so what happened to the NBA? Superstars started taking games off all the time. Oh, my knee hurts.
And their ratings are going down.
And now they had to come up with these rules of how many times they have to play, and they can be fined if they don't play, and things like that. I don't want baseball to get like that. It's the beauty of baseball is the long season, and the paramount is a short postseason with drama. And I don't need 6 playoff rounds or whatever.
Plus the National League, all the teams that made the playoffs were good.
Yeah. National League playoffs have been phenomenal.
When I looked at it, I said, damn, this is going to be hard to get to the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
I wish I was the Yankees.
Yeah. Every team was, look at how good Arizona was. They didn't even make it.
Yeah.
So like Jerry's saying, we're not watering it down. The American League, but the lower teams are advancing.
Yeah.
But I just was like going, this is incredible.
And the games have been phenomenal. Like, honestly,
it's like I'm not waving the flag either.
Brewers wild card was great.
Yeah. I'm not waving the flag, but if I don't want to lose to the Dodgers, but it's like, all right, they were the number 1 team in baseball.
Yeah.
So we
played them pitch for pitch.
Yeah. I got a question for you guys since we're talking playoff baseball here in general. And it's come to my attention, at least in watching a few of these games, that there's obviously a lot of bullpen games. Detroit's basically doing it with Scooble and bullpen games. And then watching the game last night. And I got to say, it wasn't just because of the score. I was exhausted with all the pitching changes.
Oh yeah, it's exhausting.
It's like LaRusso was
boring
managing again.
As what. It was just boring because you get 3 batters of action and then boom, 3 batters of action and then commercial, and it just So I wonder, it's like, what can baseball do about that? Is there anything that baseball can do about that?
Well, they're going to keep doing it till it blows up in their face, I guess.
Well, they talked about making a limit on a starting pitcher has to go so many innings or something like that. I don't know how you can justify that.
Chris, is Ralph going for the Dodgers? Or are you just abstaining, Ralph? I'm curious because he was an Angels fan, but now he's not anymore. I don't know what he's doing.
But I was saying, crap, you lost my.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm saying you're saying all the commercial. The pitch count doesn't matter during the playoffs because these games last forever.
Right.
I go, oh, another, you were saying it. I was like, another pitching change. I go, oh my God. I go,
well, especially when you think about what baseball has done, guys. They've done a really good job with the pitch clock.
Yeah.
All the changes they made.
Yeah.
And I got to say, watching the regular season, I really noticed a difference and appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I noticed it from a sleep standpoint.
Wife, we went to the first wild card game against the Braves. 2 hours and 9 minutes. Why? Yeah. Because both teams had starters. Yep. They went, a decent distance, the whole thing, right? Now I'm sitting here going, in the last 2 games, you look at the proverbial watch and you're like, okay, we're in the top of the 4th and we've had 2 hours now.
Yes.
And
it's not, I will say, it's, because even
no,
like
thanks, side yard. I don't like to multitask. If I'm going to watch a game, I want to watch a game.
But I kind of, I also, the thing that kind of bummed me about yesterday's game with all the changes and everything, it's just like, there's nothing better than like a pitching duel in the playoffs, and just like it's 0-0, and it's the 5th inning. You're just waiting for who's gonna break first, and and that's why I miss having Musgrove, because I feel like he would have. I think it would have been a different situation. But hey, the Dodgers maybe have no starting pitchers to go into the next series with. So, I don't know what you do. Like, you have to at least pitch 5 in. I don't know, but I agree.
I think Jerry started to say it. I think eventually bullpen games start to, you just can't, there's just too many games in a short amount of time. You can't keep doing them because, the next series is 7 games.
Well,
and after that, the World Series
imagine.
is 7. I mean, look at Tampa. Look at Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Well, let's just imagine, right, in that scenario, Jack. What if Detroit and the Dodgers play each other in the World Series?
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. I mean, is there going to be any entertainment in that? I mean,
no.
Bullpen game after bullpen game, and bullpen game followed by another bullpen game. Okay. Oh, we're going to start Flaherty this game. Oh, we got Scooble this game. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. The Dodgers are in a position to actually win Game 5, right? Like, their bullpen's good. They could do another bullpen game. But does that last over a 7-game series?
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't. Tampa Bay is. I think Tampa Bay is the one that started this bullpen game thing. And
pretty much so. They popularized it. Let's put it that way.
And you saw it in the World Series against was it the Dodgers? The short World Series. Anyway, you could see that they started falter. I mean, you can only pitch so much before your arm starts to fall off.
Yeah.
And remember too, you've already played 162 games. Like I said, could the Padres do a bullpen game tomorrow? Sure. But I think going with Darvish is the best bet. And then
I think Darvish is. I think we only have 4 like killer
money,
relievers.
But I think a lot of it, though, guys, I'll answer a little bit of the question myself because I've actually thought this over before I asked the question. Major League Baseball is causing some of this, and I'll point to the American League Division Series right now. They start one game, a day off. Why? Because that way we can stagger. Yeah. So they start one game on Saturday, and then they skip Sunday, and now Monday they've only got the American League, and now it's travel day on Tuesday. And then you play, and then you play Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's travel day, and it's just like, so you're causing a lot of this, right? Back in the day, and I don't think it was that long ago, it used to be, the American League would start on Saturday, the National League starts on Sunday, and you do the two games. I don't know I think they were afraid of football, quite honestly, so they didn't want to have day games on Sunday baseball. But I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot by doing that. And so what does that do? That allows these guys to have, like a Detroit, to pitch a different pitcher every game. And doesn't it take away from the whole context of a full season, going back to the days not that long ago where having 3 premier starters or even a 4th was necessary? Now it's 2. I get days off. Well, I can just do 2. One bullpen again, and then I go back to my 2 again. Yeah. I think it's knocking the product down.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. Ralph grew up a Dodger fan in the 80s, 90s, Angels for a good 20 years. Now I'm kind of teamless, but I have been revisiting my childhood lately. You can't go from rooting for the Angels and then go for the evil empire. I'm sorry, Ralph.
Sorry, Ralph. You lose.
Love you.
The tribe has spoken. You have been eliminated.
I have no problem with anybody being a fan of any team. I really don't.
Have you met Ralph? Have you met Ralph?
No, I've just always been a believer in that. I really am. I just there's a guy I talk to when I go up to the local casino, and he was wearing his Dodger jersey, and it's like, look, the only reason I'm rooting against you really is because you're playing my Padres. But you can root for your team. I don't think any less of him.
I'm joking too. I just I see someone wearing a Dodger jersey. I'm only rooting for you because I hate your team and I hate you. And that goes for you, side yard cat.
But I will say this, and I told my family this. We've been having some family watch parties. And I mean if, because I don't think it's going to happen. But if it's Dodgers, New York Mets, and the Yankees make it through, I will not be watching any more baseball this year. I'm done.
Well, this is
I'm done. I won't watch any of it.
For either of us.
It has been a long season.
For either of us. The Mets, I think, are a tough matchup. They played us well this season. They swept us in New York.
Well, and they're coming in hot.
Series.
They're coming in hot.
And so I think if the Dodgers move forward or the Padres move forward, it's going to be a tough series because they're locked in right now. They made a very good Phillies team look bad outside of a walk-off win by the Phillies.
I mean, they just couldn't hit the Phillies.
No, because all of a sudden, Shamanaya, who again, if we had that Shamanaya against the Phillies, we're playing the Astros in the World Series.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it just goes to show you what one good hot pitcher can do it. I mean, that's where a lot of guys make their names.
Well,
look at Joe Musgrove a couple of years ago against the Mets. You know, Joe Musgrove to that point was a good pitcher, not a great pitcher, a good pitcher.
Just a no hitter, the first one by that point.
But to my point being though that made his name and that put his stake in the ground, so to speak. And of course, we were all looking forward to him doing it again this year. But you need to have those kind of pitchers that come in and shine, or a Tatis who comes in and blows everybody away. That's how you make a reputation in baseball. That's that's what gets you on the front cover the next year of Baseball Weekly or whatever it is. I think we have those type of players, and now we just need, we need to win this game and then go forward. I think we can beat anybody, and I haven't changed my position on that. There was a time when we went in 2020 because of the short season. I felt like, we got a chance. I did. It's like, we got a chance. I mean, it was a short season, and 2022, I went in thinking, oh man, but we got to beat the Phillies, and I just didn't feel good about
it.
Actually,
every one of those series, because the Mets were a 100-win team.
Yeah. I was like, how are we going to beat the Dodgers?
Yeah, same. I was like, we're not,
because during the regular season we didn't play well against them.
Yeah.
No, they destroyed us in the regular season.
But
postseason was kind of like we got hot at the right time and kind of went until we kind of fizzled out.
Well, but the other thing is though, and again, this is all due respect to the Mets that beat them and everything, but you sit there, you look at Wheeler and Nola, and now they got Sanchez. You're like,
Suarez,
hats off. Hats off to the Mets. They beat a really good team there.
Yeah, they did.
And, as Schilt would say, it's like, we're, whatever team, we're playing a good team, but we're also a good team, and that's how you got to go in. That's why to me, there's no shame in, whoever loses, like, oh, you sucked it up and everything. To me, that's saved for the 110 win team that gets beat by the 85 win team. That's that's to me when you like,
That's why I said
I'm sorry, Dodgers, but that does apply to you last year when Arizona came and cleaned your clock in 3 games, and yet you were a 105 win team, and they barely made the playoffs.
And shocked everybody, to be honest with you. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
No, that's why I say all the teams, and it's all 6 teams in the National League coming in were really good teams.
Right.
So if you're to win, I mean, like I said, the Mets are on fire right now. There's no reason that the Padres couldn't, beat the Mets. I mean,
that's the National League. It's so these National League playoffs have been phenomenal. Like it's like I read something. It was just like all the National League playoff games are great and so much fun to watch, unless you're a Mets or Phillies fan or a Padres and Dodger fan. Like I feel like if you're a fan of the teams, not so much. But I guarantee you, I've heard so many people say like, this Dodgers-Padres series has been so much fun to watch. I'm like, it's fun if you don't have like stakes in who wins or loses. Because I enjoyed
think it's
watching.
One that everybody wanted to see because of the again, it's been brought up many times. They're like 90 miles apart. We're 90 miles apart from each other. It's a natural rivalry. It's not a made-up rivalry. And it's become a rivalry because I will be the first one as a Padre fan to say, no, you go back 40, 30 years ago, it was not a rivalry because we never won. You can't call it a rivalry unless you win.
We weren't a threat.
These last 5 years, it has been a rivalry.
Yeah.
It's because we're making the playoffs 3 out of 5. Dodgers have made it 5 straight. We're pretty much locking in on who's going to win the division, and we're making strides to getting closer and closer and closer to get that division title. And again, hats off to them. They've won it. Yeah. We haven't. But if we beat them again, that's okay. That's 2 years out of 3, that 3 that we have played them directly that we beat them.
Yeah,
that makes up for something. So,
it does.
And we won the season series this year. So
I know I with people on Twitter, the Dodger fans go, "It's not a rivalry." I go, "I don't want a rivalry. I want a championship. I could care less about a rivalry. I could care less. It's not like we need the rivalry to sell tickets anymore. It's not like the Dodgers come down. Pittsburgh's in town and we have a sellout.
Yeah.
So we don't. Again, but in the past, you needed the Dodgers, for a big crowd because the Padres were so bad, and Dodger fans
or the Yankees or the Red Sox or Cubs.
But a lot of you look at Dodger fans. I mean, in San Diego, there was always a lot of them. Why? Because people root for a winner. I mean, so it's. I mean, and the Dodgers, I don't care what they say. They've finished in last place in National League West once, and that was, I think, 1994. Since 1969, they finished in last place once.
Well, in fairness to the blocking, the tickets were all sold out anyway, so there wasn't any tickets to buy. So it was mainly because it was sold out.
And to be fair, there are a lot of Dodger fans in San Diego. They could have bought tickets.
Yeah, and there were Dodger fans in the stands. Yeah. There's Dodger fans.
Where was Mario Lopez, who was born in Chula Vista, who's a Dodger fan? Where was he?
What a joker. But anyway,
too much TMZ for me, guys.
But let's talk about the game tomorrow. Any predictions for it?
It's always one game. I do
anything
little fan. No, I do little fan duels, and I do it for baseball and football. And I only bring that up
what's
because
the betting line right now? What is?
But I only bring that up because you realize just how hard it is to predict. You sit there and you look at the pitcher and you go, "Oh, this guy just kills this pitcher historically and everything," and then they don't do it. But I think this goes back to whoever gets up first gets the nerves settled a little bit. It's always a good thing to do. And I think the first 3 innings in some ways are the ball game. I mean, that's what you want the first 3 innings to mean something. I think that Darvish has had a great history. I don't particularly care about history because a lot of times that's pitching against the team that the Dodgers of 7 years ago, and that's not even the team you're facing anymore. Yeah. But he has pitched well there at that stadium, except for his playoff experience with them.
Game 7,
But I feel very strongly that Darvish is as much of a pro as he is, that he's not going to get rattled, and that's what you kind of worry about in a decisive game.
Yeah.
I also think that we kind of missed the boat by putting Cease out there early. I think I was talking to Aaron, my son, yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about it. I don't know if this came into the decision making, but I wonder if Schilt didn't want to have the conversation with Cease about starting Perez instead. And oh, by the way, we're not going to start you game 5. We're going to go with Darvish. So basically skipping over him. Yeah. And, like, oh, well, you'll be our game 1 starter, when we get to the next series. I'm sure that would have been a very uncomfortable conversation, despite the fact that you're the manager. And how do you sell that to him, right? I was not in love with the fact that we pitched Cease on short rest, or just the fact that we pitched him because he'd given up so much the first time. Well, do you really want to send a guy out that they've recognized and beat up pretty good the first time? And unfortunately, Cease was right. He came and he says, I made one mistake yesterday, but, and kind of trailed off. And, basically what he's saying is like, well, if this was the regular season, I would have probably figured it out and we'd have been fine. Cause he did. He just gave up that, that one big home run to Betts, and then an RBI single to Hernandez, I believe it was. But it wasn't like he was just getting beaten all over the lot. But we didn't have time for him to be able to figure it out either. Right. And that's playoff baseball. So for that reason, I'm picking the Padres, obviously. But I think it's going to be a tooth and nail game. And I wish we could put another blowout out there for us, but I just got the feeling it's going to be a tooth and just scratching and clawing.
Yeah, and I I hope it's a good, close game or a blowout for the Padres. I also want it to be a blowout for the Dodgers. And if it's a close game and both teams play good baseball, play to their best abilities,
like the third game.
Yeah, like the first game and the third game. Like we lost that first game. There was a little sloppiness on our part, but say like both teams are playing their best baseball, and one team has to win. Like I won't mind if we lose that game. Well, I think what'll bug me is if it's some kind of crazy blowout or we, just make a bunch of mistakes and lose. I think that's where
I don't think there's a good way to lose. I really don't. You can sit there and say, oh, well, we lose, 5-3. We had some hits. They had a few more.
Yeah.
I always worry about the dramatic, because as much as you love to win with the dramatic, what if you're sitting there and you're ahead 4-3 and Suarez comes in and gives up a 2-run homer?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They walk off the field?
Yeah.
That would be the worst. That would be the worst.
That's the crusher, right?
That's a long off season.
Exactly. And so, in some ways you're sitting there going, the less drama in the last game, either way, makes me, sleep a little better. But hey, we're just fans. All we can do is support, watch the game, and hope. Yeah.
I'll have some honesty around how last night's game affected me, which was stupid. It was really stupid. But I have this is called an Oura ring, and it basically tracks my heart and stuff like that. And it tracks my sleep and things. And so anyway,
did it turn dark black or?
No. Well, that's the color of the ring. Yeah, I put it on wedding.
Not
ring,
a mood ring.
No. But so my sleep last night, I was in bed for 8 hours, but I slept, or I only actually slept for 5 hours and 33 minutes. Those white lines are when I was awake, and it just like I woke up and I was just I don't know why. It really frustrated me, and then in the morning I was really frustrated, and then but as the time went on, I chilled out and it was fine. But
it's funny. I went, okay, got another game. I mean,
I don't know why it bugged me.
I don't know. For some reason, the playoffs. I mean, I don't want to lose the Dodgers. I got to be honest. I don't want to lose the game. But it's just like, okay, like Jerry said earlier, it's been a fun season. I mean,
what a great season.
I look forward to watching.
I don't want to talk about that yet, because this isn't postseason. This isn't post.
But I do want to talk about Cease. I was okay with it because I said, okay, he only needs to go like 2 innings. And I said the key is that shutting them down. But the problem is we didn't. And then Hoeing comes in and throws, he's a young pitcher, and he throws that fat meatball pitch to Smith. Yeah. You just want to punch in the face. And I go, once it got 5-0, I'm like, oh man, come on, Padres. And we just couldn't get that offensive. I mean, we had, like I said, we had Peralta
7 hits, just couldn't.
Crone at first. And I think Manny, no, it wasn't Manny. Whoever, Higgy struck out. It was like a terrible at bat for Higgy. I mean, it was just a bad at bat. And then Arise, I think, popped up.
Yeah.
Again, I'm like going, what is going on with him? And then I think Tatis.
He hit a line drive. I think
drive,
wall, but it
didn't do anything. So I said, after that, it's just like, just need to get. I said, I think the key is Arise. To be honest with you, I think he just needs, because with Arise on there, if he's obviously going to keep the same lineup. He gets on, then that puts then the pitcher's like, oh crap! Now I can't give up a 2-run home run. Tatis, that just puts pressure on the pitcher, and we just weren't doing that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's funny. Jerry said, all the hits were 2 outs.
Yeah, it's funny, Jay. You brought up a good subject about the fan anxiety and everything. So here's my personal one. I've always had this thing about my sports teams that I want other people to like them too.
Mm-hmm.
So my moment of anxiety or stress was when I saw all this garbage being put out about Machado and Tatis and Profar.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, if these guys were on your team, you'd be 100% behind them. Machado, Roberto Clemente, a nominee for the Padres.
Yep.
The work they do in the community, the fun that they have with the game. And so when Dave Roberts said what he said, and I'll still say shame on Dave Roberts, shame, as a professional baseball manager, for you to call out an individual player like that.
Someone that you coach.
And then to see the video on it, shame on you.
Yeah.
And shame on Rosenthal for writing
Yeah.
a hit piece for no particular reason.
Yeah.
That caused me
clicks.
anxiety. I sit there and say, I don't get caught up in the whole fanfare and the losing that, but that bothers me.
Yeah.
That bothers me. I hate one-sidedness. I don't want somebody to come and do the same thing to the Dodgers and sit there and say, oh, this guy, he's terrible. From everything I hear, Mookie Betts, Freeman, they're really nice guys. They do great work with community, the whole 9 yards. I respect that team. I want to beat them, but don't slander them. And I'm just, talking about it, I get so riled up at Dave Roberts.
No, I agree. I was upset all Monday. Like, honestly, Monday, I was really upset.
I just thought it was trash. And like I said, and
I don't blame him for
some Dodger fan asked me on Twitter, what would Schilt have done? I go, we wouldn't even have known about it.
Yeah.
Schilt would have said, yeah, okay, whatever, and just moved on.
Yeah.
Roberts made it this big federal case, and it's just like, I think he was doing it to try and get in Manny's head. I don't think it was another,
or take heat off his players. Or
whatever. I mean, the ball. I mean,
it was a lackadaisical throw. He's kind of like half.
It's ridiculous.
You can see it in the video. He's like slowly half throwing.
Even I did see some Dodger fans that I follow. They were saying, "Come on, this is a non-issue. Let's play the game. The game's good." It's just like, And if it was that big a deal, how come Flaherty was the only one that came out to confront Machado? How come the rest of the team didn't come out and say, I mean, that's how you have to look at it. But anyway, it is what it is. But I agree. I just kind of,
emotions get in on the field, and I can't do anything about.
Yeah.
Why Flaherty was screaming at Machado in the first place when he struck him out. I didn't see Machado.
Or if that's why you feel great. Like, I didn't even get fine.
And so Machado and him going back and forth. It's like, okay, heat of the moment. Yeah. That stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
But to publicly, as a manager, no respect for Dave Roberts whatsoever now. At all.
I agree. I never
and
thought
he
he was
played
that great
for the Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives in San Diego.
And he was born in San Diego, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's born in Japan.
Born in Japan. Okay.
It's just a low class insult. Just a low class. Yeah.
Again, just to drag some and then have him, and then Rosenthal doing the damn article and calling it.
I heard they put a personal
sling.
ban on him for one game.
Yes.
So yeah.
John Boy made fun of it.
Yeah.
If you keep watching that video.
Yeah. And everybody in the comments was making, except for Dodger fan. Yeah. Oh, come on. It was going at like 5 miles an hour when it got there.
It hit the lip, so it bounced up.
He never even saw it. If it would have hit him.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But it bounced off the bottom and went high. So
again,
even in the John Boy breakdown.
Ohtani chucks the bat 100 miles an hour, and nobody says boo.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know he hit a mammoth home run, but he flung that bat towards it. I mean, it did. I saw it on the Japanese game. It bounced the other way, but what if it didn't? What if it bounced 1 inch over and hit Schilt?
Yeah.
What would you guys be saying?
Does Major League Baseball become the no fun league that remember when they outlawed the sack dances and stuff like that?
Exactly.
Is Major League Baseball going to get to the point where there's no more bat tossing?
I thought the Ohtani, like his emotion, I thought that was great. Like that's good for baseball. It's exciting.
It was a booming home run. What am I going to do?
Hey,
but,
if you do
don't
it,
act like tossing the bat that.
If you do it, then the other team can do it, right? I mean, you can't say anything if they do it.
No, not according to Dodger. They do that dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's Dodger fans that hate the Padres doing what they do. That's what I'm saying. I don't like any of it. I'm just old school, old guy. You don't show up the other team. You just run around the bases and you get it done. But all I'm going to say is, if our guys are going to do they did the sombrero for a while and do all this other stuff. If you're going to do it, you're going to toss the bat.
Absolutely.
You're going to stand there and watch. Then guess what? When they do it, you can't say anything.
I agree.
Gary says Tatis and Machado never flipped. I don't think Machado flips a bat.
Machado does too. Machado,
but I'm saying this bat.
Toss it to the side. Yeah.
I'm saying this bat was flung. It was going 100 miles an hour.
Again. Whatever it does, I don't care. I really don't want to get down on this road.
To me, this is why I look at it. I was like Jerry. Act like you've been there before. But every team does their celebrations. They do their dance. They do their thing. That's just the way the game is.
Yeah.
It's showmanship. And so you can't get mad when another team, they're throwing trash on the field and throwing baseballs at Profar, and people are blaming Profar. I'm like going, he handed a ball to a fan. That fan threw the ball on the field, and someone else were throwing balls at Machado threw a ball towards him.
Whatever. Favorite example, and I'm agreed, Jay, we need to get off the subject, but my favorite example is Jesse Winker having so much problem with Profar, and now who's one of the worst celebration artists out there? Jesse Winker.
Winker threatened an old man in the stands in San Diego.
Yeah, he did.
But
I'm just talking about currently when he hit a home run, and I mean it's just like he just won the World Series, and yet here was a guy who had a problem with Profar, raising his hands. Anyway.
Anywho, I say answer with your play tomorrow.
Yep.
Players, and we'll see what happens. Alonzo, it seems like you don't want to be a part of a fun discussion, so you're just gonna get banned and deleted from the thing. Bye-bye. Yeah. See ya. Yeah. And Gary A, wish your team luck. I mean, honestly, Dodger fans, hope your team does well tomorrow. I hope mine does better.
I hope you finish in second.
Yeah. I hope you finish second.
No, the other thing, real quick is I don't want to hit anybody. I never advocated that, but I would like to see them get a little bit closer to Ohtani a few times, just only because they've done it with Tatis. I don't think him getting hit was intentional. I never went down that road.
That would have been stupid.
I think it was Al Leiter on Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to establish the inside corner. You don't mean to hit the guy, but if you do, then it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was in the hip area.
Same intention of Flaherty. He was trying to get inside and got a little too far. Yeah. I don't think he was trying to hit him. I think Manny was just trying to rile the troops, which again, both sides do. You try to use that ammunition while you got it. I've never been a big believer in it, but apparently they do. But I think we need to, show a little gumption and again, not hit anybody, but get some people off the plate. We've handled Ohtani really well, so I'm not saying that as he's just absolutely killing us.
Mm-hmm.
Betts woke up. Unfortunately, me and my son were talking about it. It's like, couldn't he have stayed asleep just a couple more games?
Yeah,
get ready to play some bowling.
He's just a hell of a player.
He's
one
a
of my
Padres
favorite
killer.
Players, even though he's a Dodger.
And
I was just like, man, could you just quiet him down for a couple more games?
And I wanted to say this about Freeman. How can you not respect? I mean, he's had his issues with his son.
Yeah.
He had a broken.
I love Freddie Freeman. If he's Dodger, I love him.
He had an injury. I forget what the injury was, and then he's playing on this ankle.
Yeah.
It has
clearly
to
hobbled.
Clearly hobbled. I mean, I have nothing but respect for Freddie Freeman. I love Mookie Betts. I hate to. It's hard to say because I'm not supposed to. But I did want to say something about Tatis. I thought it was. I said, well, no way it was intentional. I go, but it did crack me up that Dodger fans were cheering it. I go, why would you cheer someone getting hit? Because obviously you don't like Tatis, but still, it was a 3-1 game.
Yeah,
and that put him at first, lead off.
Well, that's where emotions could get too strong. I mean, it's like, so let me see. As a fan of a team, you're okay with your team losing by 2 and hitting one of those players, and that brings you joy, and yet that hurts your team because now you got a runner on base to start.
And we scored.
So I don't understand. But that just it. And I'll say this one time: 99% of the fans in San Diego and 99% of the fans in the Dodgers are good fans. It's the 1% morons. It really is. It's the 1% morons. The people who just have a few too many adult beverages. The people who go to pay good money just so they can pick a fight. And whatever they think they're getting under a fan's skin. It's like, what does that fan have anything to do with this game that you feel like you need to fight them? Yeah. I've never understood that mentality. And so, I think everybody, LA and San Diego, wants a good, clean game. Nobody wants controversy. No. Nobody wants all this crap. And, and there's always going to be a few people that want to feed into it. We've had a few in our chat room.
Yeah.
That's
You
why.
know, it's like
That's why I said
you're
you had
not
a-
here to make a comment because of that's what you believe. You're just trying to get one of us.
Just trying to
or
be a
somebody.
troll.
That's why I
Yeah,
said a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
Dodger fans, when they were going back to the whole Roberts thing, was saying this is a non-issue. Let's just play the damn game. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I want to watch good. This has been good baseball. I just want to watch good baseball. And to me, that was just like you said about Roberts. I go, obviously he was doing it for one reason, to try and get Manny's head and get in the Padres. That's the only reason, because you watch the ball again. It's rolling to the. Anyway, I'm not going to go on.
It doesn't matter. All right, gents. So Jerry thinks close game, goes the Padres way. Jack.
I'm
Say it can still be deadly side yards. Just be careful there.
I'm hoping for a close game. Love to see the Padres win. I'll probably have a rough night sleeping tomorrow night if they don't win. But again, if it's is what it is. I mean, it's been a.
It's a game 5. Anything can happen.
Game 5 against the team with the best record in baseball.
Yeah. So if the Padres we know that have had some incredible games show up, we can win. And but also Dodgers are pretty damn good too. And if they show up, either team can win. It's anybody's game.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
And just remember, in any decisive game, there will be a hero and there'll be a goat.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
And I say of this podcast,
you can't win. I don't care if it's just a single off of, there's going to be somebody that everybody's going to dog on and like, oh, he gave up the game-winning single or whatever. But the bottom line is that, play hard, play good. I think we all hope it's a good game. We obviously all want the Padres to win.
Yes.
But yeah, I want a good game. Will I kick a 12-0, out of bed, so to speak? No, but a good hard fought win would be
20-0 would make me feel a lot easier to deal with.
Well, it makes for a better highlight reel too. If you win it and you get the clutch hit in the 8th inning or something like, So yeah, here we go, man. Here we go.
This side yard. If I see the stream after, I'll come to Crow or take my lumps. Good night.
Side cat yard. You are. Cool Dodger fan.
Yeah. And we'll be here next Thursday. Yeah,
we'll be here next Thursday. Come on down. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Oz,
no, I won't.
good to see you.
I won't.
Ryan, good to see you too.
You're in New York, aren't you, Jay?
I'll be in New York. Oh yeah, I will.
We are going to have to determine when our next one will be, because I will be in Raleigh.
Wait, am I in New York while you're in that checks?
All right. We'll figure it out.
That's gonna do it for this episode. The Padres talking Padres. Padres go win it tomorrow and head on to the next round championship series.
Thanks for everybody joining us. We had a good audience tonight.
Except for a few Dodger fans.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had Dodgers in the title, so we knew some Dodger fans were probably going to show up.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. Hit subscribe, the bell. Let's go, Padres.
Let's go.
Oh, I say the Padres go 1-0 next week.
We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego. And goodbye.